My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday. We're live on Twitter, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and as always, if you go onto our YouTube channel, you can leave your comments, and I can read them in real time. We're going to have a big show today. Carolina Teague will join us in 5 minutes because I need a woman's perspective of what went down in Las Vegas. Joe Garcia producing today's show. What's going on, Joe?
Oh, man, lots of things are going on today, apparently. You know, while we were busy doing other things, we see all the story breaking about Victor versus Britney.
Exactly. What went down in Vegas? I'm already being accused and being blamed for this because yesterday, what did we talk about on The Acquired Taste? We talked about Victor Wembanyama, and we talked about the fact that I feared for Britney Spears' safety, but I didn't mean it this way.
Yeah.
A member of the San Antonio Spurs security is accused of assaulting the pop star last night in Las Vegas. Now, Wemby is there because the Spurs Summer League will take place over there. Wemby's going to play his first game in the Spurs Summer League tomorrow night in Las Vegas. So he's there kind of enjoying the sights, right? According to TMZ, Wemby and Britney Spears were both at the Aria Casino on the Strip at a restaurant called Catch. And apparently what went down was Wemby was being swarmed by people earlier in the day. Britney Spears was being swarmed by people as she entered the casino. And apparently Britney Spears wanted a photo with the new Spurs star. And apparently went up to Victor Wembanyama, according to TMZ, and tapped him on the back and tapped him on the shoulder to request a photo. Well, apparently Spurs security got in the way, and TMZ initially reported that Britney was slapped in the face by a member of Spurs security. Now, about an hour later, they kind of posted an update saying, well, maybe it didn't happen exactly that way, because the new report that came down within the past hour said that law enforcement officials told TMZ on the down low, like their sources told them, that a member of Spurs security pushed her hand away and that it was Britney's hand that actually slapped her own face. Okay, just follow that logic when it comes to all that. But again, this is an ongoing story, and this goes just right at the heart of what I've been saying the past couple of weeks, that we are not ready for what Wemby is going to bring to San Antonio and the celebrity that he is and the media circus that goes around him. Wemby is in Las Vegas to play a game tomorrow, right? He's an ambassador for the NBA. He is the big name out there at the Las Vegas Summer League. But when you are in that orbit there and you see players and fans come out and want to get autographs and celebrities come out of the woodwork, and I understand what's going on with the Spurs security trying to protect him, but the fact of the matter is that a police report was filed. Apparently Britney Spears went back to her table, and Spurs security reportedly went to her security and said, hey, everything okay? And apparently it wasn't, because a police report was filed, and TMZ is reporting that Las Vegas police will be talking to Britney Spears today about the incident. Dude, Wemby hasn't even played a summer league game yet.
No, not
and he's
even
already
one game.
Involved in a controversy. And the bad thing about it all is the fact that his photo is plastered on there. It wasn't Wemby that slapped her. It wasn't Wemby that pushed her hand away. It was a member of Spurs security. That person being Damian Smith, director of team security for the Spurs. He's the man listed on the police report. Again, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm not saying that necessarily he did anything right. But the fact of the matter is, TMZ is reporting that Damian Smith, director of team security for the Spurs, is listed on the police report. Again, TMZ revised the early report that said that someone slapped Britney with a backhand across the face, saying that no, it might have been that they pushed her hand and that it was her hand that made contact with her own face. We're going to have Carolina Teague on in a moment. So let me know when she's ready to go, because this is a touchy subject, because you know, I need to get a female perspective when it comes to all of this, because I don't want to come out and just sound like a chauvinist. I don't want to come out and sound like I'm a jackass or I'm insensitive when it comes to this. First of all, I'm a girl dad. I have two daughters, right? One that's 20, one that's 10. I'm very, very sensitive to all of this. But the fact of the matter is that this is something that's potentially serious. I'm not saying somebody's going to jail. I'm not saying that somebody is going to be fined heavily. But what I am saying is now we're seeing the media circus that's going to travel and follow Victor Wembanyama wherever he goes. And it's crazy because we have had a number 1 overall draft pick in David Robinson and Tim Duncan. They were never celebrities. They were stars on the basketball court, but they were never celebrities. Victor Wembanyama is coming out, and he is the big name in sports right now, big name in the NBA, and he's considered to be a transcendent player. That is the best prospect since LeBron James. Some say going back to Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And we do have Carolina standing by right now.
Carolina Teague on FaceTime with us. CT, I called you about half an hour ago, and I said, hey, girl, did you hear what happened with Wemby security and Britney Spears? And your reaction was priceless. You were like, I cannot believe it.
It's literally the collision of best of both worlds. And I have a prediction. If the security guard would have listened to the Acquired Taste podcast like he was supposed to, none of this would have ever happened. Everything would have been fine in this world because he would have known who Britney was and everything would have been good.
That's exactly it. Because yesterday, the 2 big topics, Wemby and Britney Spears. And then you see less than 12 hours later, those 2 worlds collide. And the comments that people are saying on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram are hysterical. You know, that, she didn't say, hit me, baby, one more time after getting hit in the face. You know, that there's so much going on with this that I think is hysterical.
Oh, I got to play the soundbite, man.
Okay, go ahead. No, it's Wemby, bitch. It's Wemby, bitch. Who's the bigger star? Victor Wembanyama or Britney Spears in the year 2023? Who is the bigger star? I would argue that it's Victor Wembanyama.
It's Britney. It's Britney, bitch, for sure. Britney's a big in y'all's little Spurs bubble. It's Wemby.
No.
In real life, it is Britney Spears. She's far more superior than Victor Wembanyama. She's been dominating for over 2 decades, I think.
CP is going to be protect Britney at all costs.
Protect Britney. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's break it down. We can argue that. I guess it depends on the generation, right? If you are Gen X or millennial, it might be Britney Spears. But if you are Gen Z, if you are someone very young, they're going to say it's Victor Wembanyama, right? Because Britney Spears, I mean, come on, she's 40, right? She's about 40 years old. She has not had a hit song in 15 years or so. And we did a story about her yesterday because she's posting these weird videos on YouTube where she looks like she's on heroin. I'm not saying that she is, but if you were to say that she was, I would believe you. She looks out of her mind, zonked out of her mind. Okay, but that's besides the point. So let's go line by line with what TMZ is reporting, Carolina.
Okay.
TMZ is reporting that she wanted a photo and that she went up to him, Victor Wembanyama, tapped him on the back, tapped him on the shoulder, and that Spurs security got in the way and pushed her hand out of the way. Was she in the wrong? Were the Spurs in the wrong, Spurs security, or was it just both parties at wrong? At fault?
Okay. You remember last week when we were on Tuesdays with Teague, and I literally told you, this is our asset for Victor Wembanyama, and this is who we have to protect. Victor's our asset, and we're all well aware of that. Now, we were talking about who was ready to go to war for Victor Wembanyama. It would be Zach Collins. It would be Jeremy Sohan. Keldon Johnson also is on that list.
Right.
But that includes everybody, and that includes the Spurs security team, too. They're ready to go to war for Victor Wembanyama as well. So it doesn't surprise me that he reacted instantly and backhanded who he had to backhand, and it just so happened to be Britney Spears.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think the Spurs security saw her and went, oh, that's Britney Spears. We're going to push her out of the way anyway. I just think that they saw a woman there who is not part of the party, and they just got in the way. That's what I think. And I know what's going to end up happening. The surveillance video is going to be leaked because this is a casino, and there's not one part of a casino on the public side of the casino that you can go and there's not a video of it, right? Because there's so much money, so many dollars that cross the table over there at a casino. So there is surveillance video, obviously, about this from different angles. And I wonder if that's going to get released. And I wonder if that's going to follow the Spurs and if this story is going to have legs or not. Fact of the matter is that Las Vegas police is meeting with Britney Spears about this today. A police report was filed. My point of all this, though, is this. This is what I don't understand. Britney has her people. Okay, she didn't walk into the Aria Casino by herself with her husband. She has security there, right? She is a celebrity. She should know that Victor Wembanyama has security too. And what I'm wondering is if they're at a restaurant where they're going to sit down to eat, why didn't Britney security go up to Wemby security and say, hi, I work for Britney Spears. She's sitting right over there. She would like to come take a photo with you, Victor Wembanyama. Would that be okay? Have the security team talk to the other security team. And instead, she went all fangirl and approached Victor Wembanyama like she had the right to take a photo with him. That is my problem. That is my take when it comes to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been great if they would have did that. But this is Britney Spears we're talking about. She probably thought everybody knows who she is, and she could just walk up to him and tap him on the shoulder. So for me, that's what I think should have happened. And people are going to say, you know, they assaulted her. Obviously, the slap was hard enough for where she felt like she had to file charges. So I do expect for the video to come out. And I do want to see, because the report shows that there was no comment on the velocity of which the slap was given to her across her face. So
the velocity.
I need to see the velocity. I need to see how strong this slap was. Did it look purposeful? Did it look like there was intent to hurt Britney? But obviously it wasn't enough to file charges. So, you know, there's a saying, keep your hands to yourself. And I love Britney, don't get me wrong. And, you know, it's hard to say that she's on drugs. You know, those are allegations. Kevin Federline alleged that she's on meth, which is why it's important for people to listen to the Acquired Taste podcast, because everybody who listens would know this information.
Because we talked about it yesterday.
That's all we do is we combine, pop culture and sports. But, you know, Kevin Federline alleges she's on meth. Maybe that's why you get, you know, drug vibes from her, Jimenez. But who's to say she is or isn't? I think, you know, she was locked in a cage for a long time. Now she finally has her freedom. And she's barely getting used to, you know, being able to be on her own. I kind of give Britney a pass because she doesn't know the proper protocol, because she's been so held back from being an adult for over a decade.
Echo reaches out to us on YouTube. Again, you can leave your comments on here, and I can see them in real time, saying that I brought the bad juju by mentioning Victor Wembanyama and Britney Spears in the same podcast. That's hysterical. We're talking to Carolina Teague. By the way, CT, this brought to mind something that happened years ago. Let's show this photo of Britney Spears with Ed O'Neill, the actor Ed O'Neill. We know Ed O'Neill from Married with Children. You know, we know him from Modern Family. And the fact of the matter is that there's this famous photo that he took with Britney Spears, and we're showing it right now. Britney Spears approached him. I want to say it was at an airport, asking for a photo.
Yeah, this is 2016.
So Britney went up to Ed O'Neill, asked for a photo. He took a photo with her, not smiling. She posted it on social media. He had no idea that it was Britney Spears. No idea. And talks about this on talk shows all the time about how, yeah, remember that time Britney Spears went and sat down right next to you, asking and begging for a photo? So this is not the first time that Britney has gone and approached another fellow celebrity to ask for a photo, and the other party not know exactly who the hell she is. Now again, if she was wearing the schoolgirl outfit from Oops, I Did It Again, you know, Hit Me Baby One More Time, you know, but she's wearing normal clothes. So who's going to know who she is? Okay. Because again, if she was dressed up to the nines, that's what all women do in Vegas at the Aria. They're all dressed up. She's just somebody that's there. Her security should have gone to Wemby security and said, hey, can we make this connection here? But they didn't do that.
And if she looks nutty, like you say, Jimenez, and she approached him looking nutty, then that may be why he slapped her. And I don't want to say that to be offensive towards Britney, because I love Britney. Yeah. But if she has that demeanor that she, you know, she looks the way she is in her videos, maybe he didn't recognize her, thought she looked a little bit crazy, and decided to slap her because you don't know who these people can be and what they're capable of.
From way downtown, let's take a look at this comment from Gabrielle Jimenez. My daughter, my 20-year-old coming on in saying, bruh, I'm Gen Z and I know Britney's bigger. Oh my God. What kind of education are you getting at LSU?
Look at Fred Villarreal's comment.
So disappointed. Fred Villarreal reaches out and says, the great question, who will be the next celebrity to be shunned by the Spurs, Wemby security? My money is on Taylor Swift. No, because Taylor Swift is, you know, America's sweetheart right now. She gets her way. Taylor Swift is the biggest celebrity in all the United States right now.
Is she bigger celebrity than Britney?
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree. No, Britney's bigger. Britney's bigger than Taylor
Swift?
Yeah, she's friends with Michael Jackson.
Man, the Swifties are going to come for Carolina.
Jackson. Yeah, no, I'm definitely Team Britney all the way through. Like, I hate that she gets downplayed so much. She's literally a queen. I know so many men who have told me they had Britney posters in their room and they used to play with themselves when they were kids. So
that doesn't mean
they did that with Taylor. So like,
that doesn't mean that she's bigger. That doesn't mean that she's bigger, but it's funny because Britney Spears, I mean, when she came out in the 1990s, was so huge. Weird story, by the way. You know, in that video, what's it called? I don't know what's the name of the song. Hit Me Baby One More Time, the big song that she had where she was in the high school.
Yeah.
You know, the love interest where she looks over at the boy who's spinning the basketball sitting on the bleachers there. You know, that's her cousin. Her love interest in the video was her cousin in real life. Crazy.
That's nasty.
Crazy. That is Carolina Teague. Real fast. I cannot believe that Carolina Teague and my daughter, Gabrielle Jimenez, agreed that Britney's bigger than Wemby. Sorry. Not anymore. Not in 2023.
We're up on game, Jimenez. Like, I think your daughter is on point, and she knows exactly what she's talking about. Even though she's Gen Z, she understands the impact that Britney has had on our culture. And exactly the only reason why this is a big story is, well, it's because of Wemby. He's big too. Don't get me wrong. But if it was any regular schmuck on the streets getting slapped by Wembanyama, that's going to happen every day. He's a celebrity now. People are going to get slapped all through Vegas, all through Summer League. I can see it right now. But the fact that it's Britney Spears makes this story much more powerful. And it's the collision of the best of both worlds. If Britney wasn't as big as you said she was, you wouldn't have talked about her yesterday on your sports podcast.
It is the collision of sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. One last thing for you.
I got a quick question for it too.
One last thing, CT, on my end. Yeah. Back in about 2010, I went to the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas, and I went there because I was just there with friends for a wedding, and I was just taking a look. You know, what concerts are going on, and I noticed that the Billboard Music Awards were on, and I didn't realize you could buy tickets for that. So I show up, and I went to Planet Hollywood first, and some of the celebrities were there, and I was about 10 or 15 feet away from two celebrities. One was Britney Spears. The other was Rihanna. They were talking to each other 15 feet away from me, right? Nobody in between me and them, right? I didn't even realize it was Britney Spears. That's how attractive Rihanna is. Because in 2010, and this was also at the height of Britney's powers as well, Rihanna was so beautiful that I didn't even notice that it was Britney Spears right next to her. Now, if you're asking me who's the bigger star, Rihanna or Wemby, I'll go with Rihanna.
Rihanna. And also, don't forget, Rihanna performed at the Super Bowl.
That's true.
And she still looks flawless to this day. So anytime we can talk about Rihanna, Britney Spears, and sports, that's a perfect collision of my world. So I'm happy.
One last question for you, Joe, for CT.
Yeah, when I saw CT walking up and down, the sidewalk or what have you, I see this can that she has, and I'm like, is this girl walking up and down trying to work out, drinking a soda? But no, it's not a soda.
No, it's an energy drink. I'm trying to get my cardio in. I'm going to be flying to Vegas to cover Summer League. I'm hoping I get to run into Britney Spears. of all things, right?
You're not going to slap her. You're not going to have your security team slap her.
I know. I'm like, what if I can slap now? So I hope to run into Britney. That's my goal for summer league.
Don't run up to Wemby, just blind and ask for a photo.
Hell no, I know better now. Spurs security is going to slap the shit out of me. So no,
they're going to tackle you.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to get tackled. Yeah, I mean, if she looks nutty, I look nuttier. So, I'm trying to get my final workout in. I'm walking on the soccer fields of FC Arsenal right now because I live near this area. But I'm glad I got to talk about Britney Spears with you guys. So I'll see y'all at, I'll be covering Vegas Summer League. If you guys want to tune in to League of Our Own podcast, I'm interviewing Pitbull Cruz, huge boxer. That'll be coming out soon. So just be on the lookout for that. And thanks for having me on, Jimenez.
That is Carolina Teague. Follow her on Twitter at Carolina Teague _. Again, a League of Her Own podcast on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to that. I do. I watch it all the time. But thanks for being on, CT. She is my sister in sports talk radio. It's funny because let's recap the story, okay? Because people might be joining in right now going, what the heck is going on with Britney Spears? So there was a report on TMZ this morning that was released about 2 hours ago that said a member of the Spurs security slapped Britney Spears after she approached Wemby at a restaurant at the Aria Casino in Las Vegas. Wemby is there because the Spurs Summer League continues in Vegas tomorrow. Wemby going to play his first game as a member of the Spurs. Yes, it's a Summer League game, but it's the first time we're going to see him in action wearing a Spurs uniform. Now, police sources told TMZ, again, this was not official. This was their sources telling them, right, on the down low, that it didn't go down necessarily where she got backhanded slapped. They're saying that it is possible that based on the surveillance video, that a member of the Spurs security pushed her arm away and that Britney's hand made contact with her own face. Either way, according to TMZ, Spurs security apologized later on to Britney Spears' security team and her people, and that she said that she was fine. But apparently that wasn't the case because a police report was filed about this. And according to TMZ, the Las Vegas police will be meeting with Britney Spears today about it. I doubt criminal charges will be filed because this is a protection thing. That's according to what TMZ is saying, that they're acting in their duty of protecting this particular celebrity. Personal opinion, I think it's kind of weird that she went up directly to Wemby for this. She has people, he has people. They could have communicated first and have made this happen. It didn't have to go down this way. And I'm not saying that she deserved to get slapped. I'm just saying that I'm not surprised that she did, because no one knows who's approaching. When you are security, you are looking out at all sorts of people. And the fact of the matter is that if they didn't know, they didn't know. It was just somebody who approached Wemby. And I remember Monica Seles back in the day.
Oh, man.
Remember Monica Seles got stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know somebody has a knife, a gun, what's happening. There's somebody coming at your boy.
Yeah, that's my thinking as well, even if it is a nice casino like the Aria. A special thanks to Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate. Again, 210-273-0748. 210-273-0748. Special offer this week. She's offering a free 1-year home warranty plan if you purchase a home through her. This is a $600 value. It protects your home if there's a water heater, a dishwasher, AC, or other mechanical appliance that breaks down due to wear and tear. The warranty covers so much more. Reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez. She can also give you an appraisal, an evaluation, if you will, of your home to see what it would legitimately sell for. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, looking for an investment property, maybe an Airbnb type of place, reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748, 210-273-0748. She's been a realtor for 16 years, my personal realtor as well. Cynthia J. Sanchez, her number's on the board there, 210-273-0748. A reminder, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs podcast. I'll be on Locked On Spurs, I believe either today or tomorrow with Jeff Garcia.
It's today, I believe.
Yeah, we were talking about a lot. We were talking about the whole Draymond Green situation, about how Draymond Green says that Victor Wembanyama is being set up for failure. And it's a very interesting talk about it because he's talking about the celebrity and all the different things that go on with being the #1 overall pick in the draft and being a superstar on top of that. And we were talking about the fact that, you know, since the year 2000, only 2 rookies have made the All-Star team in the NBA, you know, their rookie season. That was Yao Ming and Blake Griffin. Even LeBron James missed the All-Star team in his first year. So the thing about it is Wemby being set up for failure? Because are we thinking that if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, that he's a failure? Are we thinking that if he doesn't make an All-Star team, that he's a failure based on all of this publicity and all that swirls around him? And now it gets encompassed by the fact that this whole thing that went down in Las Vegas, Victor Wembanyama splashed across headlines all over the world. It's a slap heard all around the world. Again, TMZ revising what they said, saying, update, the hand was pushed and Britney's hand struck her own face. That's the latest of it all. We're going to hear more about it. We're going to talk more about it later on in the show. But again, Locked On Spurs, subscribe. I listen to it on Spotify, but wherever you get podcasts, follow Jeff Garcia also on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Again, Locked On Spurs podcast, your daily place for daily content of the Silver and Black, the San Antonio Spurs. Speaking of the Spurs, they looked good last night.
Yeah, they did against the Lakers.
Yes, Summer League in California, Sacramento, California. The Spurs won 109-99, beating the Lakers summer team. And 109 points. That's a lot of points, right?
And you were saying in 40-something minutes.
It's a 40-minute game in the Summer League. So they were on track, if it was a 48-minute game, to score more than 130 points. But, man, the box score, screaming, baby. Okay, couple of names. Malachi Branham did not play the first game in Sacramento. Yeah. Balled out yesterday. 32 points, 12 of 24 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3, knocked down all 5 free throw attempts. Okay, his days in Austin are done. Malachi Branham
has to be,
is a Spur. He's the second team of the Spurs. He's good. Julian Champagnie, who was incredible in the first game, followed it up again last night. 28 points, 8 of 17 shooting, 5 of 10 from 3. And he hit all 7 free throw attempts, 7 for 7.
I think he might be just about ready to say that he deserves a little bit more playing time.
Yes, he is playing right now like he belongs as part of the rotation. If there's a 9-man, 10-man rotation, Julian Champagnie is looking like he is that guy. Blake Wesley also had a big night last night. 7 of 9 shooting, 18 points. Spurs went on to win 109-99. They're playing very well, and now they get to add a certain player named Victor Wembanyama to the mix as they get going tomorrow night, a game that's going to be on ESPN. The ratings for that are going to be through the roof. In fact, I was taking a look at the ticket sales. If you wanted to buy a ticket to this, if you wanted to go to today's games in Vegas,
say I want a floor seat,
$20, $25.
Okay.
If you want a cheap seat to tomorrow night's game with Victor Wembanyama taking the court, $225. And if you want a floor seat, $1,500 for a summer league game in which we don't know if Wemby's going to play 5 minutes or 25 minutes. Absolutely insane. But man, Julian Champagnie, Malachi Branham are looking like they're ready for the upcoming season. Very, very cool. Lots of comments coming in. Again, we're live on Facebook, live on Twitter, and on YouTube as well. If you're listening to us on Facebook or on Twitter, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. That means a lot. We're inching closer to 500 subscribers in less than a month. That's a big deal. By the way, people have been reaching out to me, Joe, saying that our page is now on the recommended list. So some people are going on to YouTube and they're seeing our page there.
Nice.
YouTube is starting to show us some love.
Well, that's all thanks to the fans and the way that they interact with the show when we're going ahead and sending out the notifications that we are live. We appreciate all their comments. Keep them coming.
Hit the like button, by the way. Keep hitting the like button on YouTube if you are on right now. We're going to go through some of your comments right now because Thursdays we like to have as a you call it type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where you guys tell me what you guys want to talk about. But before we get into that, we like to talk about pop culture here and an update, if you will, on a story we talked about last week. Remember when we were talking about Kevin Costner and how Kevin Costner is going through a divorce and he's trying to kick his wife out of the house because she filed for divorce. And according to a prenup that she signed nearly 2 decades ago, almost 20 years ago, she was supposed to leave the house within 30 days. She didn't. She asked for $250,000 worth of child support every month. Because, I mean, Kevin Costner is worth a lot of money, right? They live in a home that's $145 million in value. He gave her, because according to the prenup, he gave her $1 to $1.5 million and said, here, take this money, go buy yourself a house. Leave this $145 million mansion. $1 million gets you nowhere in LA. Gets you nowhere. And they have had 3 kids together over the course of these 20 years or so, and she has the kids. So my thinking is, well, what's going to happen to the kids? Because apparently they want to be with mom. You know, dad works. Dad goes on to Yellowstone. He's filming a movie right now about the Civil War. So that being said, a judge yesterday said that the prenup was valid. Now she's fighting this, hoping it goes to a higher level. But if this is true, and if the judge's orders hold, this woman is in a world of hurt because they're saying that she has to give back the $1.5 million that Costner gave her. And on top of that, she has to pay the lawyer's fees for Kevin Costner. And Kevin Costner, you know, didn't go to the phone book looking for a divorce attorney.
No.
So at this point, is he going to allow his kids to be destitute? Because isn't that what's going to end up happening if, in fact, they want to live?
Well, the kids are going to have to make a decision. Do they want to live with mom or do they want to live the plush lifestyle with dad?
They can't.
You know?
He's gone 9 months out of the year filming stuff. They're minors.
Oh, unless they have somebody that Kevin Costner hires to take care of them.
And a judge might not want that.
Yeah, might not.
A judge might not want that because if you have a willing parent who's willing to care for the kids, the judge would rather have that than a babysitter or a nanny. Or something like that.
Hey, but I can tell you for a fact, I bet you those lawyer fees are going to be more than $1 million.
Yes. Right. So, and if she has no earning potential, that's why I think that when she goes over the top and tries to appeal this to a higher court or a higher level, there will be more sympathy there because Kevin Costner makes $17, $19, $20 million a year. He can go off and make movies for $40 or $50 million a year if he wanted to, right? Because he is a big name. Yellowstone is huge. He is not going back to the Yellowstone studios anytime soon. He might be killed off that show. I love Yellowstone, one of my favorite shows in the world. But Kevin Costner apparently is tired of the show, wants to go do other things. Fred Viriel says, don't hit the like button, smash it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there. Matt Lerma coming out and saying, $1 million, that's a good down payment, though, for nothing. Because if you have no income on the back end, then it means absolutely nothing. If you've been the one who's been raising the kids for 2 decades, it means absolutely nothing. If he's going to leave his kids and let them be destitute, then he's a jackass.
The Drew Show says all of Kevin Costner's kids shave, brother.
They shave, but they're 14 years old. I'm sorry, you can't be alone for 9 months out of the year. You can't, or more. Jason Garcia asking the question, what's better, $1 million or Derek Jeter's gift basket? Well, we got to ask Mariah Carey about the gift basket because apparently she was one of them, allegedly. I guess they have to stay married. You know, I've heard of the phrase cheaper to keep her.
It is cheaper to keep her.
But in this sense right here, it might be more beneficial to keep him. I don't know. I don't know the dynamics as to why she filed for divorce or anything like that.
Somebody put Mario Cavazos, Kevin Costner is getting with Amber Heard on the down low.
That is gross. That is gross.
You might want to put down the rubber sheets.
You know, it's funny because Johnny Depp, the whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, just spectacle that it was in court last year. I'm looking at Johnny Depp and I just don't like him. Like, I look at him and I want nothing to do with Johnny Depp.
Why? The dude's all right, man.
I have in my entire life only watched one Johnny Depp movie. Since I was a teenager when he came out, was it 21 Jump Street? It's probably when I first saw him. And then he came out on Edward Scissorhands and all that stuff. I just remember looking at him going, I hate this dude. I just don't know what it is about him. I just don't like him. And to this day, you could line up 10 of my favorite actors, my favorite director, my favorite everything. If he is in the ensemble, I ain't gonna watch him.
Man, Johnny's good people, man. Like I can just hang out with him because he likes to put a little something in his coffee. He likes to drink and just chill, man. He just looks like a laid back dude, you know?
No, dude, he looks like he smells. And I'm looking at the movies here, the list of movies that he's done, right?
He's endorsed by that one, was it Cologne, that he has an endorsement with? I forgot who it is. But you've seen the commercial. He comes out, they have like wolves and everything. They're in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his movies, like the highest ranked ones. Edward Scissorhands, I've seen.
Eating
Alice
Gilbert
in Wonderland. No, never seen it. That's with the Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco, never seen it. Sleepy Hollow, never seen it.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Never, none of the Pirates movies. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Mordecai, The Ninth Gate, Benny and June, Rum Diary, Arizona Dream. Never seen any of them. You know why? I just don't like the guy.
Oh my.
I just look at Johnny Depp and I think to myself, okay, Mario Cavasso saying Nightmare on Elm Street. By the way, okay, that is a caveat there because Nightmare on Elm Street came out when I was 8 years old and I watched it then. Okay, so I blame my cousins from California for making me watch that movie, but he was not the star of that movie. He was killed in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was killed off quickly.
Spoiler alert, he was killed in the first 10 minutes of the movie, right? And it was a gory scene. It was pretty crazy. People reaching out to us saying, you know, you own the Chocolate DVD. Oh, was it Chocolat?
Chocolat?
Was he in Chocolat?
Uh-huh.
I remember the name. Never seen it. Jason asking the question, does Mike still live that shelter life? I don't. I just think that Johnny Depp looks like the douchiest guy I've ever seen in my life. Why would I want to watch a movie with that guy? I mean, he just looks like he smells.
How do you look like you smell, dude?
Okay, just look at him, man. I mean, he just looks homeless at all times. Matt Lerma saying, I don't like the guy. I just know every movie he's been in because I like pop culture and I watch commercials, right? I know Pirates of the Caribbean. Dude, my kid was Jack Sparrow for Halloween one year. Doesn't mean I watched the movie. Now, I do like the whole Michael Bolton thing when he made that whole Jack Sparrow spoof with the Lonely Island on SNL several years ago. That was funny.
I like this comment from the Drew Show. Again, acquired taste, not good taste. Donnie Brasco is awesome. I got to agree with him, man.
I'm sure it was. Is Donnie Brasco kind of like a gangster movie?
It's kind of like an informer, you know, kind of like behind the scenes, based on a real story, you know, real life story.
So it's only 30% true?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of embellishment, of course, but it's a good flick.
This came out in the 90s, right? So there were a lot of movies there that I had to catch up on later on from the 90s. Like, I mean, I saw all the Tarantino movies growing up. You know, I saw Reservoir Dog. Well, was Reservoir Dogs Tarantino? I want to say that it was.
I think it is Quentin Tarantino.
And then you have, you know, The Usual Suspects was a good movie back in the day. Pulp Fiction was amazing. Going on and seeing movies like Heat was really good. Casino was good. There were a lot of great movies, a lot of gangster movies. You know, the Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci type movies. Seven was a really good movie. The 90s had a lot of really good thrillers back in the day. But Donnie Brasco was one that I just avoided.
Man, TLGS Services, keeping it real, man. Look what they said.
Got to separate the man from the art. I still sneak in some Michael Jackson tunes here and there. No. No. I stopped listening to R. Kelly 5 or 6 years ago.
Come on, man.
I'm not going to watch the Cosby Show, you know, because I can't look at Bill Cosby. No, you can't. Just sometimes the whole act versus the person, and say, well, just appreciate their art. The art came from the person who committed the act. Michael Jackson. Well, now here's the thing, though. Michael Jackson, I couldn't stand growing up anyway. All my friends were into Michael Jackson. I couldn't stand him. I was like, you know what? I like this other dude that likes girls. His name is Prince. You know, Let's Go Crazy. You know, Purple Rain. The Beautiful Ones. I like that.
The Raspberry Beret.
Raspberry Beret. I like that. I don't want to hear I'm bad. Your butt is mine. Shut the hell up, man. That is just bad.
Man, I
music.
got some bangers in to throw your way when we do karaoke. We're just gonna put them on the board and just spin that wheel wherever it lands. That's what you're singing.
Okay, so everybody likes one thing from somebody they hate, right? Okay, I'm a big believer in that. So I will say that with Johnny Depp, Edward Scissorhands was not a bad movie. It wasn't a bad movie.
It was a very artistic film.
Right. It was a Tim Burton thing?
Yeah, Tim Burton thing.
So my Michael Jackson is Man in the Mirror. If you were to say, Michael, you're forced to listen to one Michael Jackson song, I will choose Man in the Mirror. If it's any other song, Black or White, or
Smooth Criminal.
Now, was it the Ataris, or who came up with the other version of Smooth Criminal?
Oh no, it was Alien Ant Farm.
Alien Ant Farm. The Ataris did the Don Henley Boys of Summer.
Yeah, Boys of Summer. Hey, that's a banger, dude.
That is a great song. By the way, do you know what Boys of Summer is about?
No, man, I never really paid attention to it.
It's a great thing because it's asking about what season are you in life, right? When you're young, growing up, you're in the spring part of your life. When you are a young man, you are in the summer of your life. When you're in your middle age, you're in the fall of your life. And when you're retired, you're in the winter of your life. So the Boys of Summer is basically kind of looking back at time and going, I'll never be young again. You're not old, but you're not young. Kind of like where I am right now. Although my daughter did piss me off the other day, my youngest one, because she was like, did you realize in 14 years you're going to be 60? Dang. And I was like, shut up. That hurt. That hurt.
Man, she got to put it in perspective for you.
So we have lots of people reaching out and asking several questions. Again, it's a You Call It Thursday. But let's go.
Oh, but wait a minute, man. They're going to say, Mike going to tell me he never saw Forrest Gump. When he finally did, he hated it. You did not hate Forrest Gump.
No, I like Forrest Gump.
I was going to say.
And you know what? Okay, so I believe in the conspiracy theory. It's just it's more of a theory than anything else, that if you think that Jenny had a hard life and you pity Jenny, you vote Democrat. And if you believe Jenny had it come into her, you vote Republican. And I heard that a long time ago, and it kind of makes sense. Like it kind of makes sense whenever I hear people talk about it, and I know how they lean politically. I think it makes a lot of sense. That was a great movie.
Fred, man, I guess Mike has that Smell-O-Vision app on his 80s TV monitor.
Dude, that's a guy of a certain age, because Smell-O-Vision was a thing.
If you could classify what are you going to classify as how Johnny Depp would smell to you? What are you going to classify that smell as?
A combination. It's like 40% sweat, but it's not regular sweat. It's like the stank of the sweat. Like you haven't worn deodorant in a while, right? So it's 40% that. It's 30% booze, and it's 30% just crap stains. That is what I envision Johnny Depp smelling like.
He would smell to you. You're just describing what you're describing to me. Have you ever been to a carnival?
Yes.
And you're walking past those little booths where they sell the food and whatnot. Yeah. And you get a little whiff of something as you're passing by, because it's all the runoff, the grease and everything mixed together, always trailing off somewhere in a drain or something. And you get that little whiff.
Yeah.
That's what
it's like the porta potty drained out.
It's nasty,
it just
dude.
Seeped out.
Yeah.
It seeped out a little bit. Drew Show says, I believe Jenny is the Chris Rock punchline about women lying. Told Slow Forrest, it's your baby because he was the only gazillionaire she knew. That wasn't his baby, bruh. Nah, man. That was Forrest's baby, man. I will go down swinging on that, because that baby talked just like him. That baby did the lean of the head just like him. That baby had so many similar attributes that Forrest Gump had. That was a great movie. Forrest Gump is a great movie. The whole running on empty thing about them going cross country on the run, I could do without that, but it was a great movie. Great movie.
Somebody's calling you out. He doesn't like Big Trouble.
Big Trouble in Little China's shit.
Oh,
it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I felt stupid for watching that movie. That is the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life. Take that back. Everything Everywhere All at Once was just as bad, and it won all the Oscars last year. Trash movie. Trash
Look at Chris
movie.
Leha saying, Jeff. He's probably saying, Jeff, you need to come get your boy.
Okay, so Paul Count 2 reaches out and says, awful crap show. You need to articulate exactly which one. Are you talking about this show? Or are you talking about Big Trouble in Little China? Because that was an awful movie. Someone called Jeff. I'm sorry, but Jeff. Now, well, let's talk a little bit about sports real fast, because someone asked the question, what player on the Spurs roster do I think will be the most improved Spur? You just scrolled right past it. That was asked by Matt Lerma. So which Spur do I think is going to be better this year? I might go a little bit controversial when it comes to this, because I think a lot of Spurs fans are thinking that it's going to be Keldon.
There he is. He says, I have a question. Who do you think will be the most improved Spur from last season?
A lot of people would say Keldon, because Keldon is due for that jump. I mean, don't get me wrong. He averaged more than 20 points per game last year. Very good player, solid player. He's a little bit undersized for the position he's at. I would much rather him play the 3 than the combo 3-4 that they had him doing. I'd rather him play. I honestly want him to be the 6th man, but that's besides the point. It's not him. Malachi Branham will get better, but it's not him. Trey Jones is a possibility. Devin Vassell is due for a jump, but I'm gonna put another name out there. I'm gonna rank them 1, 2, and 3. The Spurs that I think are going to have the biggest leaps next year. Number 1, I think it's going to be Zach Collins. I think Zach Collins, all about his health, having another 7-footer in the lineup. I bet you Zach Collins starts at 5, which puts Wemby at the 3 or 4. I think Zach Collins is going to have a huge year this year. Number 2, I would say if given the opportunity to start, it will be Trey Jones. And then number 3, we're still waiting for that Devin Vassell leap. And if Devin Vassell can be open more often than not, because all eyes are on Wemby, I think Devin Vassell has a big opportunity this year to take a leap. I'm excited about this season. And we're seeing Champagnie play so well. We're seeing Branham play so well in the Summer League. Blake Wesley played well last night. The Spurs young core might be catching fire together, and it's so fun to watch. Brian Wright suddenly looks like a genius, but all of this is because Victor Wembanyama is there. Okay, make no mistake. It was Tim, Tony, and Manu, right? But it was really Tim. Without Tim, Tony and Manu weren't doing anything. Okay, you need to have the main course. You need to have the big dog.
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I'll be honest with you. If Brian Wright, he would have been known as maybe a GM that didn't really live up to par with the fiasco that was Josh Primo, right?
Right.
But he made some moves that kind of saved him, and it made Spurs fans see him in a different light. Some of these moves were a bit of a gamble. We didn't understand the process at first, but now it looks like they're paying off. And now with the Spurs finally getting that number 1 pick in Victor Wembanyama, like you said, he's looking really good as a GM.
14% chance, and it hit, because we would be staring down another 25 or 30 win season if we got Amen Thompson or Asar Thompson. We were at number 4 or 5, but we got the number 1 pick. The 14% chance hit, then he looks like a genius. Now, what I do enjoy about Brian Wright is that he's willing to wheel and deal.
Yes.
I think he's kind of a mini Sam Presti when it comes to it. He's willing to be part of trades to help facilitate trades, and he did one yesterday. There was a trade yesterday involving the Spurs and the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. And the Spurs got, follow me here, a 2030 swap with the Dallas Mavericks, a first-round unprotected draft swap with the Dallas Mavericks. And people are asking the question, well, why did the Spurs pull off this trade? What are they doing? Why are they going to get Reggie Bullock? Well, Reggie Bullock, if he makes this team, is a veteran. And he plays a 2 or 3. So he's a decent player, not a great player.
He's about 6'7".
Yeah, he's a decent 2 or 3 guy, right? I like Reggie Bullock. He's fine. If he makes the team, great. If he doesn't make the team, fine. But the Spurs needed to get certain players in order to get their salary cap to a certain position.
Yeah.
This is an expiring deal. The Spurs are forced to spend a certain amount of money, and this gets them to that threshold so that they've spent the money that they're supposed to spend, so that when other teams go above and pay into the luxury tax, the Spurs can get their portion, their windfall of that luxury tax. But the thing about it is this: 2030 first round pick swap might sound like it's nothing, but can you imagine if the Spurs got the #1 overall pick in 2030 because of a trade that was done in July of 2023? And I did the math when I posted this on Twitter. My daughter, Ava, just graduated from elementary school. She's going to middle school, and she's starting 6th grade. The day we find out if this whole swap actually takes place, the month that we find out is the exact same month that my daughter Ava, who's entering 6th grade, the exact same month that she graduates high school. That is crazy. Brian Wright literally trading for 7th graders right now.
Oh, yeah. That's the future of the team.
Well, he was talking about why get all these picks, and he was talking about, months ago saying, yeah, I know that I'm trading for high schoolers right now. I know that I'm trading for people who are freshmen, sophomores in high school, and by the time these picks convey 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, they'll be 19, 20 years old, and they'll be potential draft picks for us. He's going beyond that. Brian Wright is coming out and going out there and saying, we're now going after middle schoolers. That is the luxury that he has, knowing that Victor Wembanyama is on this team right now. That is the luxury that he has. And it's exciting to see what happens because, everything fell into place. The Spurs winning the draft lottery and getting the #1 overall pick, despite the fact that they only had a 14% chance of winning it. And now you take a look at the fact that the Spurs have 3 first-round draft picks next year. The Toronto one will convey. We will have that one. I highly doubt that Charlotte first-round draft pick ever happens because it is top 14 protected, and I don't think Charlotte's going to make the playoffs next year. Charlotte makes the playoffs next year. We don't get that first-rounder. It suddenly turns into a second-rounder. It doesn't get pushed back into future years. It turns into a future second-round pick or maybe multiples.
But that other pick that we're getting from the Hawks, that might actually pay out.
2025, that's a big year right there because the Spurs have the Hawks pick, the Spurs have the Bulls pick, and the Spurs have their own pick. So we go into that one, and it's so amazing that the Spurs have that. Then the Spurs have swaps with other teams down the road. The Spurs have multiple picks in the future as well beyond 2025 as part of all these trades for DeJounte Murray, for Thad Young, for Derek White. And it's so funny because people will talk about the Kawhi Leonard aspect of things, right? Kawhi Leonard, they're like, yeah, you got screwed over by that trade. Spurs got DeMar DeRozan, and the Spurs got Thad Young.
Oh, we got Jakob Poeltl in that trade.
That's what it was. Spurs got Jakob Poeltl. Spurs got DeMar DeRozan and the number 29 pick.
Yeah.
The 29 pick became Keldon Johnson. So that pick still lives because we still have Keldon Johnson. What did we do with DeMar DeRozan? We traded him. So now we have a 2025 pick that's going to come around because of that, right? And when we traded DeMar DeRozan, we got Thad Young, and Thad Young got flipped, and I believe we got Malachi Branham as part of that. So that whole Kawhi Leonard trade from years ago still lives, and the Spurs have the ability to ultimately win these trades down the road, and it's exciting. Brian Wright, I nicknamed him the hologram because no one knows who he is, but he's willing to wheel and deal. Let's go through some of these comments coming on YouTube. Again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter, but if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you get to leave a comment and we get to read them in real time. Drew Show says, well, Charlotte better make the playoffs. Mike flip-flopping on his boy Brandon Miller already, Joe. I still own stock on Brandon Miller. Yeah, man. City Sissoko swallowed him up the other day, man.
Yeah, he did.
Completely annihilated him on the defensive side.
And honestly, man, these are kids still, right? So they're gonna have bad games, right? Let's see if he has better game, a better showing when he gets to the Las Vegas Summer League.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get better. And the thing is that Brandon Miller sucked during the March Madness. Now, he was hurt. He did get hurt that A&M-CC game. And a lot of A&M-CC fans are like, oh, you see, we held him down. Yeah, he got hurt in that game.
I don't know, too, because a lot of that, he was trying to play through all the fiasco that was going on behind the scenes with his involvement in that shooting, you know?
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are going on with him from a mental aspect, and you got to ask yourself, did that have a factor to play in his performance?
No,
as well?
I don't think it did, because that happened on January 15th, and he had played 2 months after that. But
you don't think these kids on the court are going to remind him of that?
About what?
They're going to trash talk to him, man. They got to get under his skin, dude.
I'm sure they'll trash talk and things like that. But it's not like, it's not like these guys are innocent of the things that they do. Brandon Miller was never charged. Brandon Miller is not facing any charges, and a lot of people got to give him crap about that. TLGS services saying Wright is just a puppet. Pop and RC is still running the show, but we get to blame Wright for the
Luka
Samanic and
Primo.
Josh Primo pick. Dude, the whole Luka Samanic pick, that might actually be, growing up, I'm old enough to remember Spurs fans talking about Alfredrick Hughes and the Spurs drafting Alfredrick Hughes back in the 80s. And that was back in 1985, when the Spurs could have picked in that year Joe Dumars, could have picked AC Green, could have picked other players that were available. Luka Samanic is this generation's version of Alfredrick Hughes.
Yeah, it is.
Because Luka Samanic is going to go down as one of the worst picks, because most of the mock drafts had him as somewhere going into the mid-second round. And the Spurs took him at what? 19, 17, 19, right around there?
Yeah.
But the Spurs redeemed themselves, because at 29, I remember watching that draft and getting so excited because the player I wanted them to get was Keldon Johnson. And when they didn't pick him, I was furious. And then 10 picks later, he's there available at 29. Anthony asked the question, what 2K rating do you think Wemby is going to get? I'm going to say 87.
I think I might put him a little higher. I think he might get 90.
I think 87 to start. Offensively, he might be an 84, but defensively, he might be a 93, 94 for an average of 87. That's what Draymond Green was talking about in the podcast. He was saying that he thinks that Victor Wembanyama will actually be very, very good defensively from the get-go. But offensively, he might struggle a little bit to get his shot and find his footing. It's a brand new ball. It's a different ball. It's a different size of court. So Wemby's going to have a different way of adjusting when it comes to it. The defense will come, though. He's 7'5", dude, with shoes on. He's 7'5". That'll come. John reaches out to us on Twitter, asks the question, do you think the Spurs are going to have issues with women, or a perception that women, with a bad perception with women when it comes to what's going on based on Josh Primo and based on what happened with Britney Spears yesterday? It's interesting to see how the Spurs just completely swept the Josh Primo thing under the rug, and that Spurs fans allowed it to happen. Spurs fans, I don't think, raised enough hell or beef when it came to it. I saw so many Spurs fans side with Josh Primo on this, and I was just appalled by it all. Josh Primo right now, I mean, we're seeing videos of him on social media, of him working out. I don't know when he's going to get a chance. He might get a chance maybe in another year or so.
Maybe. But
this is a guy that, was part of the Spurs rebuild. And he was somebody the Spurs were leaning on to be a starter in the backcourt with Devin Vassell. And the accusations that were made, again, the Spurs didn't have to defend themselves, because they just settled out, and that was quick. I mean, they settled within minutes, right? Hours, days. This didn't linger on, and because it didn't linger on, the Spurs were able to move forward. But the allegations that Dr. Hillary Cawthon was giving at the time, saying that Spurs knew about this, that members of the Spurs front office knew about it, that the coaching staff knew about it, that the executives knew about it, it doesn't sit well with me. It really doesn't. But do I think the Spurs have a stain there right now, especially with what happened with Britney Spears? I don't think so, because the Spurs took care of business and swept it under the rug fast enough. It didn't linger on. It didn't linger on like the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson. That is for sure. Taking a look at TMZ.com, they have updated their story about Victor Wembanyama and Britney Spears. Again, the headline says, Britney Spears smacked in face by San Antonio Spurs security. Wanted pic with Victor Wembanyama. If you're just joining us now, made big news all over. It's trending right now on Twitter, big time. A collision of two things: Victor Wembanyama's stardom, Britney Spears' stardom. By the way, kind of funny, I'm being blamed about this because I mentioned both Wemby and Britney Spears in my show yesterday. But the update is photos of showing Britney Spears walking towards the restaurant entrance, and Victor Wembanyama is maybe 20 feet in front of her, 15, 20 feet in front of her, making his way to the same restaurant.
And we are showing the picture
Vegas at the Aria.
We are showing the picture.
Okay, showing the picture?
Yeah.
And then there's a photo of Britney Spears about 1.5 feet away from Victor Wembanyama. Wemby is walking forward, has a security guard this right side. Man, why don't they have security on all ends of Victor Wembanyama?
Right, somebody watching his back.
Secret Service style.
Yeah.
You know,
you're surrounding your boy.
All angles. Yes, exactly. But his guy is to the right, and apparently Britney wanted a photo, tapped him on the shoulder and back, and the belief is, according to TMZ and according to police sources that told TMZ on the down low, that originally it was reported as though the Spurs security member slapped Britney Spears across the face. That got revised into saying that he pushed her hand or pushed her arm, and that Britney's own hand made contact with her own face. So essentially, security guard is accused of forcing the slap of herself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, there is an update. It says, we just received contrary information about the police investigation from a source high up in the Metro PD. TMZ says our source says that there is indeed a criminal investigation and they're taking the incident as serious as a heart attack. The source adds that the case will likely be referred to the district attorney's office, although that does not mean that criminal charges will be filed. This story officially has legs. Absolutely crazy. And again, crap like this is going to happen because Victor Wembanyama is more than just a basketball player. He's an international celebrity. And if we think that we can treat him here in San Antonio the way that we treated Tim, Tony, and Manu, or David Robinson, where if you saw them at HEB, if you saw them at Chipotle, if you saw them at, I remember seeing Spurs at Freebirds one time, getting burritos, right? That you think that we can just go up to them and start talking to, you can do that to Trey Jones. You can do that to Keldon. You can do that to Devin Vassell. But if you think you can go up to Victor Wembanyama in public these days, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, you know, the thing
ain't
too,
gonna happen.
The way I see it with these players is that people idolize these players because what they're able to do on the court. But these players, they don't know the fans a damn thing. They don't have to talk to you if you go up to them. And if they don't want to talk with you and you're like, well, he's being such a dick, he doesn't owe you anything. Right. You know, you got to respect their privacy too. If you see a celebrity or, you know, an athlete out in public, what gives you the right as a person just to go walk up to them and then approach them or encroach them in their own personal space just because you bought a jersey with their name on it? They don't know you nothing.
They don't. And I think Spurs fans are treated are very, very, what's the word I'm looking for here? They've been treated so kindly by athletes. They're not used to either athletes, Spurs players shunning them. They're not used to Spurs players having security around them. You know, I go to places and I'll see Manu Ginobili out and about. I went to a restaurant, I don't know, about a year ago or so, And Monty was outside eating with everybody else, right? He wasn't with an entourage. He was just having dinner. I've gone to places when Tony Parker was having, dinner, and I just happened to be at the same restaurant, and he's not there with a lot of people. Victor Wembanyama is going to be traveling with an entourage of people. When I say an entourage, I'm not talking about the John Morant type of entourage where, they're going to be going around, flashing guns and cars and things like that. They're going to be going to strip clubs and doing that. What I'm saying is that it's an entourage of security. It's an entourage of personal trainers. It's an entourage of family that's going to be following him from place to place. And it's different, man. And it's already swallowed him up already as far as the celebrity. He hasn't even played a summer league game. That's tomorrow. That is tomorrow. Speaking of which, tomorrow, Fernandez.
The infamous
Fernandez, Ricardo Fernandez, United States Marine Corps, will be our special correspondent tomorrow. He's going to be at the game tomorrow in Vegas, so we're going to reach out to him. Again, bit of an instigator, but I like it.
No, I like it. He's good people, man. He's good people.
Let's see if we have any other comments before we call it a show.
No, look at this one.
Yeah, that's a great question. TLGS Services asked the question, if Miles Bridges can come back, then Primo should get a shot. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Miles Bridges accused of domestic assault. Primo accused of ongoing or multiple times of exposing himself. Josh Primo will come back at some point, but it's not going to be anytime soon. The difference, though, is Miles Bridges is a very good player. Joshua Primo, he showed flashes, and I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek. He showed flashes of being a good player, but he doesn't necessarily have the tape or the resume to say that he belongs in the NBA. He was on his way to being there, but not necessarily. Fred Villarreal reaches out and says, saw Devin Vassell at a San Antonio FC game recently and went up to greet him. No slaps were had, and he seemed like a very cool person. Devin Vassell, my favorite Spur. To this day is my favorite Spur. I've never met him. I've met a lot of the Spurs players over the years. Never met Devin Vassell. He is my favorite player. I have what I call my sons on this team. Lonnie Walker used to be one of them. But right now, I have two sons on the team, Devin Vassell and Malachi Branham. Those are the two that I cheer for the most because I want it so badly for them. Chris Gonzalez reaches out and says, George Hill, DeJuan Blair would come to Ingram Park Mall and buy shoes all the time, and only one person would ask for an autograph. But with Wemby, that's not going to fly. That's the thing. And can you imagine? I've brought this up several times before, but can you imagine if the Spurs next year with their potential three first-round draft picks get Bronny James?
Man, wouldn't that be something?
On top of it all?
You talk about San Antonio then becoming the focal point of the media. They already have a lot of interest with Victor.
Right.
Now, if you get Bronny, that puts you on a whole different level.
All I'm saying is if the Spurs have 3 first-round draft picks and Bronny's considered to be a top 20 player,
that means that Daddy's going to be calling too, wanting to play with the Spurs.
Free agent for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm not saying that's going to happen, but what I'm saying is that I'm saying that it's not going to happen. Yeah. I mean, there is a chance of that happening. Fred asking if Lonnie Walker's the orphan. Yes, Lonnie Walker is an orphan. He's no longer my son, though I do cheer for him from time to time. No, but this has been a fun show. The thing about it is this. Victor Wembanyama takes the court tomorrow night for the Spurs. That's going to be a whole thing. I mean, the ratings for tomorrow night's show going to be through the roof. Watch tomorrow night's game, and I can't wait to watch it.
All eyes are going to be on the Las Vegas Summer League.
Yeah.
It's not going to just be here nationally. You're talking a worldwide audience.
The worldwide audience. On top of that, you add the Britney Spears factor on top of it all.
Is she going to be at the game?
Will he give her a photo? That is the thing.
He should give her courtside tickets, man. Come out, Britney. Yeah. Come out. Watch the game.
Come out to the Thomas and Mack Center or wherever the hell they're playing that game. Come,
be my guest. Be my guest. Sit courtside.
Again, one last thing. Again, according to TMZ, their update, they're the ones reporting this, saying that they have received contrary information. I'm quoting this, saying that a criminal investigation will be opened on this and that This is going to be referred to the district attorney's office. Again, they revised their story saying that police sources told them that the Spurs security member whose name is listed on this whole thing, pushed Britney Spears' arm, and that her hand then hit her own face, and that apologies were made, but they weren't necessarily accepted. The person that is listed on the police report is named Damian Smith, who's the director of team security for the San Antonio Spurs. So this is going to have legs. I mean, wow.
I wonder how the media is going to spin this tomorrow, because it's going to be, they're just going to be grabbing for any little piece of information they can. All eyes are going to be on Wembanyama. They're going to be putting Britney's name out there as well, saying about the implications. What is this going to be doing for Wembanyama's debut and whatnot? Yep. You can already see the storylines they're going to spin.
Oh, my goodness.
The angles.
They're salivating.
Oh, yeah.
They're salivating.
They're in the room somewhere, Mike. They're like, yes.
He's going to be asked this question about Britney Spears. He's going to be hounded about this. This is just the first story about Victor Wembanyama, the first circus story that we're going to hear, because several others will be coming over the course of the next 4+ years that he is with the San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully it's longer than 4 years, but the circus has just started.
Get used to it.
That's right. That's Joe Garcia. My name is Mike Jimenez. Thank you to Carolina Teague for being part of the show. Again, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs podcast. Jeff Garcia with your daily Spurs content. Lots of articles, in depth when it comes to it. He goes to the post games. He goes to a lot of these games. He was at the draft that Wemby was selected at. Jeff Garcia has a great follow on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Again, I follow on Spotify myself. I'm actually a guest on today's show, so looking forward to that. Again, Locked On Spurs podcast with Jeff Garcia. Please subscribe. And again, a big thank you to Cynthia J. Sanchez from J. Parr Real Estate. 210-273-0748. 210-273-0748. Again, she will offer a 1-year warranty if you buy a home through her. And that's a $600 value. So if there's an appliance that breaks down, like she was talking about with the dishwasher, the AC unit, things like that, you buy a home, she will buy the 1-year warranty for you. Again, Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. Tomorrow, we'll talk more about Wemby. Spurnandez, the infamous Spurnandez, will be on tomorrow as we preview the Spurs Summer League game, Wemby's first game in the silver and black at the Summer League in Las Vegas. Brittany, I hope you feel better. And again, instead of Brittany, bitch, it's Wemby, bitch. For Joe, I'm Mike. We'll see you guys tomorrow.